We begin in Indianapolis, where 8 people are now dead after a gunman opened fire at a FedEx facility overnight. According to the police, the shooting happened at around 11 p.m. local time near the city's international airport. They say it appears that the shooter ultimately took his own life. Multiple other victims were also hurt. This attack marks the latest in a recent series of mass shootings across the country. In Indianapolis, it's at least the 5th mass shooting this year alone. CBSN Chicago, Charlie DeMar reports on how the events of last night unfolded.
They have an active shooter currently at FedEx.
The late-night shooting unfolded at a FedEx facility near the Indianapolis International Airport. Police say when they arrived, they encountered the shooter who ultimately took his life.
We have located 8 people at the scene with injuries consistent to gunshot wounds. Those 8 were pronounced deceased here at the scene.
At least 4 other victims were hospitalized with gunshot wounds. Witnesses described a chaotic scene.
And I saw an assault rifle of some sort. I saw the clip, and he started firing.
Jeremiah Miller was outside the facility about to start his second shift when he heard the gunfire.
I hear 6 shots fired at once, you know, at a time. Bang, 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 bang.
He says he took cover, then started warning other employees.
My initial thought was, don't die and escape. But then when I started seeing everybody roll up from midnight shift, I felt the need to help people. I felt the need to warn people.
Multiple bullets even struck this car in the parking lot, blowing out its windows. After the shooting, facility workers were rushed into buses and taken to a nearby hotel to reunite with anxious loved ones. Cherise Grice wasn't able to get a hold of her nephew, Raymond, who was inside during the shooting.
We've been calling his phone, texting him. Like they said, their phones are locked up. They can't have him on them at work. So we don't know if he's okay or not. The hospitals couldn't tell us nothing.
We want to bring in Charlie DeMar on the ground in Indianapolis. Charlie, what more are we hearing from witnesses and community leaders right now?
Well, Anne-Marie, good morning. Where we are now is a few miles away from that FedEx facility. It is a hotel that's serving as a reunification center for families to try and get word. We have seen families coming here throughout the morning, throughout the night, not knowing if their loved ones are dead or alive. A few minutes ago, we were inside and we heard screams. We didn't know if they were good screams or not. Luckily, they were. It was a family member who just got word that her loved one was alive. Spoke to another person who came out of here with her arms up when she got word, again, that her loved one was okay and they were finally able to reunite. So you can just imagine just how heartbreaking it is as these families roll up to this hotel, really not knowing if their loved one is alive or not.
Absolutely heartbreaking. I know the investigation is in the early stages, but what do we know, if anything, about the shooter and what is next in the investigation as it continues?
So obviously police still in the early stages, as you mentioned. They still have a lot to go through at the FedEx facility. Right now they cannot, police cannot determine if the shooter knew any of the employees or was an employee of FedEx or had any affiliation with FedEx. Police did say this morning that the shooter was believed to be dead from a self-inflicted wound before officers entered the FedEx facility this morning. But again, as for his tie to the facility or a motive, still too early in this one, Vlad.
So we know that several people were injured, a number of people were injured, and they were transported to nearby hospitals. Some people, I think, got there on their own. What do we know about their conditions?
Police telling us now 8 people have been confirmed dead in this. At least four people are being treated with gunshot wounds, and 1 other person is being treated for some other type of injury. Police believe possibly shrapnel at this time. But again, 8 people dead. 4 others are being treated, at least 4 others are being treated for gunshot wounds here in Indianapolis.
So, Charlie, let me also ask you about a policy that's in place at the FedEx facilities that prohibits employees from taking their cell phones inside a FedEx facility. What do you know about that and other security measures that were in place perhaps at the time of the shooting?
And that is something that we've been hearing from loved ones here at the hotel throughout the morning. Spoke to a woman earlier. She was trying to get in touch with her partner, and she told us about a policy that FedEx employees can't bring their cell phones into the facility. So she was worried that that possibly cost precious seconds of somebody alerting authorities and then ultimately getting help at the facility. But that is the policy, as we understand it, is that employees can't bring their cell phones in there. And as you can imagine, that creates even more confusion now as loved ones are trying just to get some form of communication from loved ones who are inside that FedEx facility.
All right, Charlie reporting live on the ground for us in Indianapolis. Charlie, thank you so much. We appreciate it.